Question 27. 3/10 take away 1/20. Now the problem you've got here is that both fractions have different denominators, and if they have different denominators you need to change the fractions into two new fractions that have common denominators. So we need common denominators. Common denominators just mean that both fractions have the same, and at the moment they're not the same. This fraction's denominator is 10 and this one is 20. So what we need to do is find a number that both 10 and 20 will go into. Now there are several options here. You could make them both out of 40, because 10 goes into 40, 20 goes into 40. Or you could just keep the 20 as it is and just double the 10 to make that one out of 20. So you can either make them both out of 40, because 10 and 20 both go into 40, or you can make them both out of 20, because 10 and 20 both go into 20. Either way would be correct. We might actually do it both ways just to see the difference that it makes. So if you do it into 20ths, then to get from 3/10 into 20ths, you would have to double the 10 to get 20. So I'm just going to write times 2. So if you're doubling the bottom number times 10 by 2 to get 20, you've got to also double the top number. So 3 times 2 would be 6. So 3/10 is equivalent to 6/20. But 1/20 is already in 20ths. So we've basically got 6/20 subtract 1/20. That's like saying 6 apples take away 1 apple. Well, 6 apples take away 1 apple would be 5 apples. So 6/20 take away 1/20. It's like 20ths is the unit that we're using. So 20ths is the unit that we have in the answer. So 6/20 take away 1/20 is 5/20. So you could put an answer of 5/20. Another possible way of doing it is to turn both of them into 40ths. So let's do that one in a different colour, just to see what we would get if we did them both into 40ths. So both of them into 40ths, we would start with 3/10, and if we try and turn that into 40ths, to get 10 into 40, you times that by 4. So whatever you do to the bottom, you've got to also do to the top. So you'd have to do 3 times 4, which is 12. So 3/10 is the equivalent to 12 40ths. And if you're doing the same to 1/20, to get 20ths into 40ths, you would actually have to double that. So 20 times 2 gives you 40. But whatever you do to the bottom numbers, you've got to do to the top numbers. So 1 times 2 gives you 2. So we've got 12 40ths to take away 2 40ths. Again, going back to the apples, 12 apples take away 2 apples would be 10 apples. But because we're dealing with 40ths, it's 12 40ths take away 2 40ths, so that's 10 40ths. So another answer you could use would be 10 40ths. Either of these answers are correct, because these answers are both equivalent to each other. 10 40ths and 5/20 are both equivalent. There is one other answer that's even better than both of those, and that's if you spot that 5 out of 20 is actually a quarter. 5 is a quarter of 20, and 10 is a quarter of 40. So both of these fractions are also equivalent to a quarter.